At the end of the topic, you will be able to understand the classification of industries based on ownership, analyze the economic reforms of 1991. Industries. Industry is the production of economic goods or services within an economy. Industrial revolution led to the development of factories for large-scale production with consequent changes in society. Industries are classified on the basis of ownership such as public sector, private sector. Public sector is usually composed of organizations that is owned and operated by the government. Private sector is usually composed of organizations that is privately owned and not part of the government. Public sector. The public sector refers to the part of the economy concerned with providing basic government services. Police, military, public roads, public transit, primary education and healthcare for the poor fall in the category of public sector. Some public sector units are Integral Coach Factory, Neyveli Lignite Corporation, Bharat Heavy Electricals Limited, Oil and Natural Gas Limited, and Air India. Private sector. Private sector is that part of the economy which are owned and operated by private individuals or groups, usually as a means of enterprise for profit and is not controlled by the state. Examples of private sector are as follows: Infosys, Reliance Industries Limited, Tata Consultant Services, HCL, and Mercedes-Benz. Cottage and small-scale industries. Economic reforms allowed the expansion of cottage industries and small-scale industries in India. Industries where the production of products and services is home-based rather than factory-based is known as cottage industries. Examples of cottage industry are spinning thread and weaving of cloth. Small-scale industry is defined as a unit in which investment in the plant and machinery should not exceed Rs 1.5 crores. Examples of small-scale industries are food processing industries and power loom industries. Economic reforms of 1991. In 1991, many economic policies were adopted to strive and achieve better economic growth and development. Economic reforms aimed at rapid industrialization were abolition of industrial licensing, allowing foreign investment, encouragement of private sector, coexistence of public and private sector. Economic reforms attracted foreign investment in India like Nokia, Microsoft, and Ford. The major economic reforms of 1991 are as follows: liberalization and privatization, globalization. Liberalization. Liberalization refers to the removal of restrictions in the trade practices that allow the free flow of goods and services from one nation to another. Private sector units were allowed to enter core industries that were reserved for the public sector. Need for liberalization. To bring flexibility in the operations of global business organizations, to help companies to compete with other companies at the international level. Privatization. Privatization is the process of transferring ownership of a business from the public sector to the private sector. The major objective of privatization is to improve economic efficiency and sustainability of the whole private sector of an economy. Privatization improved the government budgetary position and allowed taxes to be cut. A country might operate an airlines company and sell it to a group that runs it as a private profit-making company instead of as a potentially tax supporter of the government. Globalization. Globalization refers to the integration of economics and societies all over the world. Globalization involves technological, economic, political, and cultural exchanges made possible largely by advances in communication, transportation, and infrastructure. Due to globalization, the source of raw material can be drawn from any corner of the world. Globalization connects national markets with global markets. The objective of adopting these economic reforms of 1991 is to increase foreign exchange reserves in India. In this topic, you have learnt industry is the production of economic goods or services within an economy. Liberalization refers to removal of restrictions in trade practices that allow the free flow of goods and services from one nation to another. Privatization is the process of transferring ownership of a business from the public sector to the private sector. Globalization connects national markets with global markets. The objective of adopting these economic reforms of 1991 is to increase foreign exchange reserves in India.